We've got Les with us today. Les is from Cooke Optics. Les, thank you for coming
my
on
pleasure
board.
to be here.
Now, just in case some of our viewers have been in a coma for the past 100 years or something, just give us an overview of Cooke Optics.
Sure. Well, Cooke has been in the making optics for motion pictures really from the beginning.
Yeah.
We were founded in 1886. George Eastman, before he started Kodak, came over to see the founder of our company to find out about lenses for his forthcoming cameras. So our lenses made all the Charlie Chaplin movies, all the famous Clara Mansky movies, the first Academy Award-winning film, Wings, back in 1927, all the way up through things like Hugo, the award winner last year or year before last. And we're still going strong after 127 years.
Amazing. So let's get right up to date. And let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about Cooke Metrology. Tell us about that.
Well, that's really a new branch for us. William Taylor, the founder of our company, back in the 1880s, he said, you know, if you can't measure it, you can't make it. And obviously that's very true. I like to say you can't make it twice, but okay. In any case, and as the PL world, and we make primarily PL lenses, expands beyond just the traditional film world into TV and all other sort of niches in this business, people don't really have the equipment, the proper equipment to check their lenses. And while there are some lens projectors out there in the market, we found them lacking. So we said, well, let's do it ourselves and follow in William Taylor's footsteps and make the measurement equipment that people can really rely on.
Right. The other thing I'm talking about is anamorphic.
Well, that's really quite a buzz at the moment. No offense to my colleagues that make the cameras, but you know, in the film world, we had 20, 30, 50, 100 emulsions to deal with. In the chip world, we have 2 or 3. So there tends to be in digital a certain sameness. And people are looking for a way to differentiate their work from their colleagues, which is what people always want. They want their stuff to stand out. Anamorphic is a different flavor. Anamorphic, for those that may not know, is where you're actually into almost a square format. You're squeezing a widescreen format. And to do that, we actually squeeze the picture down and then we unsqueeze it later. And that introduces all kinds of strange things, such as instead of the out of focus shapes being round like they usually are, they become elliptical. The flares become a little horizontal usually. And also, just to the viewer who may not actually know he's watching an anamorphic film, it looks different somewhere in his subconscious because since we are dealing with the squeeze, we're actually dealing with virtually 2 lenses sort of kludged together. A wide angle lens and a normal height lens. And so your depth of fields are different. So it makes sort of a more interesting picture. And so I think in this digital age where people are looking to differentiate their work, anamorphic is now enjoying a real resurgence.
Excellent. And as far as the range of lenses goes for anamorphic, what sort of ranges are we talking?
Well, we're going to start with 25 through 135, 7 lenses. And 25 in anamorphic is actually quite wide. It means it's a 25 millimeter normal height lens, but it's actually a 12.5 millimeter wide lens. So, and we think that's enough to start doing movies. There will be obviously more lenses to follow. We'll meet our S4 range, which really was the first modern lenses. You know, we started really the trend for modern lenses about 15 years ago. We started with 4, they went to 6, we went to 8, we're now up to 18 different focal lengths. So it will grow depending on what the industry requires.
Brilliant. Well, talk about modern technology. Tell us a little bit about your eye technology system.
Sure. Well, you know, at here 13 years ago, we introduced the first eye technology. And I stands for intelligence, and it's a metadata system for lenses to communicate with both the camera and other equipment on the set. And I have to say, 13 years ago, most people looked at it and said, what do we need that for?
Yeah.
What a waste of time and money. Well, time has changed. People now really understand metadata is extremely important. It can be used on the set to talk to other equipment, and it can be used mainly in post-production for doing tracking and CGI work. So what we've done now in the next generation is we've introduced into the lens inertial guidance components, which sounds a little strange to put them in the lens, but that's where we've done it. So now not only the lens will be talking about its iris and its focus and the typical lens data, it will also be giving relative positional data. So when they're doing tracking, and tracking is really the art of software, looking at a two-dimensional image and recreating this three-dimensional world and putting the camera and lens in the proper place. And the reason that's important is if you're going to, if the camera is pointing down and over to the right, but you want to put a clock up in the upper left-hand corner, you can't just put a round clock there. It has to be properly distorted for the perspective of the point of view. So by putting and tracking software is quite good. They can actually solve 96% of the shots with no help. But on the 3, 4, 5% they have trouble with, it is really good for them to know exactly what movement the camera was doing. So if they lose a track, they can use this inertial information to reconstruct it and find their tracking information. So we're quite excited about that, and we've had quite a great reception from mainly from the visual effects people.
Brilliant. One more thing, there's a new collaboration between yourself, Kodak,
Absolutely.
and Pixel Farm.
To make this, what we call the I-squared, the second generation system work, we had to record the data. And while Sony, Arri, Red are all eye cameras, we don't always know what they do with all the information they collect. Sometimes they parse the data and keep only what they want to. So we went to our friends at Codex, and they made what they call the data logger, Codex data logger, which will plug in to talk to our eye lenses and record all the data that's required. So that really solves the problem. And I'm sure they're going to expand that to not only do our lenses, but to do other equipment on the set that can talk. And then obviously the PF Track, or the Pixel Farm makes a product called PF Track, which is tracking software. And so we're working with them to integrate this information into their software so that they can actually use it when they need it. And so both companies have been great to work with. PF Track or PF Farm, the Pixel Farm, has been an eye supporter actually from almost day one. So
excellent.
Now we're hopefully giving them some tools that really work well for them.
Brilliant. That's great. Now you're here obviously at IBC. I'm going to test you now. Excuse me. What stand are you at? Whereabouts are you? We're in this hall 11. And we're in stand D10. Brilliant. That's great. And of course, if people want to find out more about Cooke Optics, the website.
www.cookeoptics, that's COOKEOPTICS.com.
Yes, thank you very much for coming on. It's fascinating as always. Go and have a look at the website, cookeoptics.com, to find out everything about the magnificent range of lenses that Cooke Optics can provide.